Well, muted. Well, if it isn't the Tennessee Volunteers, good old Rocky Top. 4-0. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a quick video today. Gonna try to make it under 10 minutes if I can. Um, but wanted to look at how legit is Tennessee this year. Starting out 4-0, beating Florida, beating Pittsburgh, and their other two games are Akron and Ball State. Um, I don't know if they have that kind of schedule to really base off if they're legit or not. Because, and we'll look at the schedule, and I'll explain why here in just a minute when we look at the schedule. But want to go ahead and start with a article on ESPN from Chris Lowe, a senior writer at ESPN, put out this morning as I record this on Monday, September 26th, 2022. Chris Lowe put this out at 7 a.m. Central Time here in Alabama, of course, Central Time. Where do the Vols go from here? Tennessee football looking for more after finally taking down Florida. Let's kind of skim over this and read some of it, and we'll kind of talk about it too. The roar of the Neyland Stadium crowd was still ringing in Tennessee coach Josh Heupel's ears when he finally got home late Saturday night. And that's a good thing, Heupel told ESPN. There's always the next game, but a scene like that is something you don't want to forget. I've never seen anything like it, right? He hopes to see a lot more like it, as does a suddenly recharged Tennessee fan base that is basking in Saturday's 38-33 win over Florida, a game that in typical fashion for this series went down to the very end. So this was your typical, they call it, and we previewed it, if you remember, they call it the third Saturday in September um, game. There's only one third Saturday. We'll get to that next month. Um, so, as we know, I mean, Tennessee has been losing and losing to Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. A shout out real quick to Uncle Lou, right? His character, General Voltard, making his return per sources this week on LouTube. Um, 38-33 uh, for the Tennessee Volunteers, of course. Hendon Hooker just having the game of his life. 22 and 28, 349 yards and two touchdowns. No picks. Anthony Richardson, he did pretty good too. 24 of 44, 453 yards passing. Two touchdowns, but an interception. He ran the ball very well, as did Hendon Hooker. This was an offensive onslaught type of game. And this video necessarily isn't to reflect on that game too much, but that's where it's starting for Tennessee, right? You know what I'm saying? So let's do this. Let's pull up their schedule. Where do they go from here after beating Florida? They got LSU on the road upcoming, right? Where do they go from here? Let me pull up their schedule. And we're going to talk about this because honestly, I think outside of a couple games, I think it sets up very nicely. I really do. Unless Tennessee is going to be the Tennessee of old. I don't think that's the case. I think the defense is suspect a little bit, but that offense, man, it's clicking, it's going, and it's doing very well. So they got LSU. Um, they got a bye week this Saturday, so they don't play. Unfortunately for me, because I've enjoyed watching them this year, honestly. But after the bye week this Saturday on October 1st, they got to go to Death Valley. Going to be a noon game on ESPN. They got to play my Crimson Tide at home. They got to play UT Martin. That's obviously a win unless they really screw things up. They got Kentucky. That's a tough test. At Georgia, Mizzou, at South Carolina, and then, of course, their rival in Vanderbilt, who they got on the road. And Vanderbilt's looked pretty good at home. So, is there room for error? I mean, could they turn this into what started out as a great year turns into a royal flush? You know what I mean? Like, could they throw it down the drain? I think that's a good possibility. Well, I don't want to say a good possibility. It's a possibility. I don't think it's likely though. I don't expect them. I'll tell you what. I don't expect them to get Alabama, although Alabama does have some issues that we got to fix, and we better clean it up in time for a game like Tennessee. Um, I don't think they get teams like Alabama, and I don't think they get teams like Georgia. They could get Kentucky at home. They're gonna beat UT Martin. They're better than Vanderbilt. South Carolina. South Carolina's not looking all that right now. Mizzou is not looking good at all. So games like Missouri and South Carolina should be in favor of the Volunteers. I think in the preseason, honestly, man, I had them like 7-5. Honestly, um, they have just surprised me. I mean, there has not been a shy game for Hendon Hooker yet. At minimum, in every single game, he's having at least 220 passing yards at minimum. And I'm basing that of course, the lowest game he's had was Ball State, even though they won 59-10. Um, you got Jalen Wright. You got Cedric Tillman doing really, really well. Some other receivers like McCoy and Hyatt are stepping up. I think the offense is just clicking at the right time for the Tennessee Volunteers. So after this Florida win, where do they go from here? They got to go play LSU at Death Valley. Be glad it's not a night game, is all I can say. I want to click on this game and I want to see what the matchup predictor is. I'm not ready to give a prediction yet. It's only Monday. But do want to see in favor what the line is. I'm sure Tennessee is a favorite, but I'm sure they give LSU a lot of credit, if you get what I'm saying. So let's see. Oh, no, LSU actually has a 59% chance here. They're scoring 39 points a game and giving up 14. See, I haven't really seen much of Brian Kelly this year, honestly. There is not a spread out. And this is a game, actually, I apologize. It is next Saturday, not this Saturday. They get a bye week. I think Tennessee with a bye week should scare people like LSU right now, man. I know LSU is going to be at home. I know they'll have the home crowd. I know it's tough to play on the road in the SEC. But give Tennessee some props, man. Give them the credit they deserve. They have got an offense that seems almost unstoppable, if you ask me. I mean, I'm nervous about Alabama's defense going up against them because they got a solid O line that can block some pretty good defenses. Um, I don't think teams like LSU should sleep on Tennessee. And I'll even go ahead and say right now that I don't even think a team like Georgia should sleep on Tennessee. I'm not going to sleep on them as an Alabama fan. Tennessee is clicking and coming together at just the right time in the season. You know what I'm saying? Like they they started out looking pretty good. Like that first game, and we'll get into some stats too, man. We got to talk some of these players. Um, Tennessee opened up with Ball State. They blew out Ball State 59-10. I looked at that game much like anybody else, and I said, "Way to go, Tennessee!" but it's Ball State. Then, then they play Pittsburgh on the road, and they win by a touchdown. They show some clutch. Hendon Hooker came through. The defense came through, took care of Keaton Slovis. So it's like they're beating the teams they should beat, right? Then you look at a game like Akron. You're not gonna base Tennessee off that. 63 points is great. Holding a team to 6 is great. But after the Akron game, it's like, now you got to play Florida. Come on. And they played them. And they played them good. And they played them close. Doesn't matter if it's a close game. They won. They're 4-0. They're in the top 10. When is the last time you saw Tennessee in the top 10? I can't recall that. I was a youngin'. I was young. I was little. They're in the top 10. They are at number 8 right here, right now. Where do they go now? What is next for Tennessee? They get a bye week and then they get a tough stretch. LSU, Bama, Georgia, it's all coming up. Georgia is not really until November. I just kind of threw that team out there. They got to play Kentucky. They'll beat UT Martin. They should. I think they beat Vanderbilt. I think they beat Missouri. I think they do. I think they can run this. I think they could go 10-2. That's my prediction. Right? My projected outcome for Tennessee, and we'll end it on this note. Right? 10-2 at max. If not that, 9-3. And I say their third loss could be maybe that Kentucky game, because Kentucky's defense is looking pretty solid, and Will Levis is doing pretty good with that offense. Kentucky's on fire right now too. That's another team for another video maybe, but I think they'll beat Kentucky. So if that's the case, let me go ahead and put them at 10-2. And I think at this moment, man, I think the sky's the limit. I don't think they're there to beat Georgia, and I don't think they're there quite yet to win a third Saturday in October rivalry with Alabama yet. So when I look at that, they lose those 2 games, but that's about it. So comment down below what you guys think about the Tennessee Volunteers this year, and what? So let me know what you guys think about the Tennessee Volunteers down below in the comments, and because I think they got a really good offense that almost seems unstoppable right now, and it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. So Josh Heupel's doing great things, and definitely building up this program. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Keep your head up. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. Love y'all. Peace. Roll Tide.